Imagine a future where you no longer have to endure a job that doesn't bring you joy. Instead, you have the freedom to work on your own terms, choosing to engage in activities that truly interest you. Your time is dedicated to pursuing hobbies, strengthening bonds with loved ones, and living life to the fullest. This future is a promise of retirement in theory, but why wait until your 70s to achieve it? Many, including myself, aspire to attain this lifestyle in their 20s or 30s, where you can embrace your best life without being tied down to an unfulfilling job. However, making this a reality is undeniably challenging. In this video, we'll explore a guide to work towards the goal of early retirement, and we will break it down into 3 parts. Part 1. Understand the meaning of retirement. Over time, the perspective on retirement has evolved, and there are different interpretations and perspectives of what retirement is. In this part, we will discuss the 3 distinct levels that define the meaning of retirement. Level 1. This represents what we commonly refer to as traditional retirement. This concept originated in 1889 when German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck introduced it as a solution to youth unemployment. The idea was to encourage young people to enter the workforce by promising them financial support after they have reached the age of 65 or 70. While this approach served its purpose in the past when life expectancy was much lower, it has drawbacks in the modern times. Studies have shown that when people retire, they face the increased health risk and a loss of purpose in life. The traditional retirement model's flaw is that it expects us to wait until our 65s or 70s to truly enjoy life, which might not align with our aspirations. Waiting until we're older and possibly facing health issues is not an appealing expectation. If we look at the places like Okinawa in Japan, where people live exceptionally long and fulfilling lives, they don't even have a word for retirement. Instead, they embrace the concept of ikigai, which refers to your life purpose. What is your reason for getting up in the morning? What is the meaning in your daily life? This leads us to level 2 in our understanding of retirement, the concept of mini-retirements, which gained popularity after Tim Ferriss discussed it in his renowned book, The 4-Hour Work Week, published in 2007. The idea behind mini-retirements is to break away from the traditional belief of waiting until old age to enjoy retirement. Instead, it suggests spreading several shorter retirement-like periods, referring to as mini-retirements, throughout your life. Imagine having a job that grants you autonomy and allows you to delegate and automate your tasks. With such flexibility, you could take a month or 6 weeks off multiple times a year to explore new places you want to explore while you're still young and energetic. The idea is to experience different lifestyles and locations, gaining valuable insights about what truly fulfills you. However, as you achieve greater financial success through various endeavors, businesses, investments, and such, your perspective on retirement will further evolve, moving on to the level 3 of the meaning of retirement, which is perpetual retirement. This concept aligns with the ideas presented by Naval Ravikant in his insightful book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and he stated in this book, "Retirement is when you stop sacrificing today for unimaginary tomorrow. When today is complete in and of itself, you are retired." This perspective offers a fascinating way to view retirement. In our conventional understanding of work, it often requires making sacrifices in the present to secure a better future. We trade our time and energy for money, aiming to build a comfortable life for ourselves later on. While work can certainly have its benefits and purpose, the essence of it lies in making these exchanges. If we were to imagine winning the lottery, most of us would likely consider continuing our current jobs, solely for enjoyment, opting for more fulfilling activities instead, or perhaps working part-time. This idea of perpetual retirement challenges the thought of postponing happiness for a later stage in life. Instead, it encourages finding fulfillment and completeness in the present moment. When we no longer sacrifice today for a better tomorrow, and each day holds its own value, that is when we can consider ourselves in a state of perpetual retirement. It's a deep perspective that calls us to live fully and appreciate the richness of each day. Part 2. Choose your method to retire early. How can you reach a state where you no longer sacrifice the present for the future, achieving a form of retirement, whether it be financial, spiritual, mental, or emotional, while still young? There are generally 3 approaches to consider. Method 1. Building substantial wealth. This first method involves generating enough money to comfortably sustain your desired lifestyle. This idea is closely related to the FIRE movement on the internet. This stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. It is a lifestyle movement and is easy to remember. Within the FIRE movement, there are two known key concepts: Fat FIRE and Lean FIRE. Fat FIRE refers to achieving financial independence with substantial wealth accumulated from different sources of income or money. The goal is to retire while maintaining your current quality of life, and this is achieved by making significant amounts of money, which can be then invested in relatively safe assets. One popular strategy within the FIRE is the 4% rule. It suggests that if you have a diversified investment portfolio, you can safely withdraw approximately 4% of its value each year to cover your living expenses without touching the principal amount. For example, if you had $1 million in stocks and shares, following the 4% rule, you could withdraw $40,000 annually while keeping the original $1 million investment intact. However, the challenge with this approach is the need to accumulate a substantial amount of money to reach a level where the 4% of annual withdrawal provides enough income to sustainably fund your retirement and support your desired lifestyle in a passive manner. Method 2. Living Minimalist Life. This second method to achieve early retirement is Lean FIRE, which centers around reducing your lifestyle expenses in order to save enough money to retire as soon as possible. Instead of needing a substantial annual income, you aim to live a fulfilling life with much lower cost. For instance, if your desired lifestyle only requires $20,000 per year, you would need a smaller investment portfolio to sustain it. By choosing to live a life in a country with a lower cost of living, you might even manage $10,000 annually. In this case, your investment portfolio target would be around $500,000. The appeal of Lean FIRE is that it allows people to retire early within a few years, especially if they have a relatively high-paying career. Saving up $500,000 might be achievable, and it can let them embrace an early retirement. However, the challenge arises when the desired lifestyle includes various comforts and satisfaction, like travel, sending kids to a good school, or living in a good neighborhood. In such cases, lifestyle inflation may occur, where the lifestyle cost may keep rising, making it harder to maintain the Lean FIRE method over time. If we consider the first two methods and align them, a third method of achieving retirement early emerges, which is Method 3, Loving Your Work. This third method involves engaging in work that brings you fulfillment and joy, so much so that you would willingly do it without the need for financial incentives. It's the idea of doing what you love and never feeling like you're actually working in the traditional sense. Some might dismiss this as cliché, but it holds a lot of truth. Even though reaching this stage is a privilege, most of us may find it challenging to gain enormous wealth or drastically cut down our lifestyle expenses. Discovering work that genuinely brings fulfillment, especially when it aligns with the current trends in work and business, can lead to a fulfilling life. Part 3. Plan your retirement. My approach to early retirement incorporates a blend of all three methods we discussed in a previous part. Firstly, I am to pursue the Fat FIRE strategy by striving to generate substantial income and investing it in valuable assets. Secondly, I follow the Lean FIRE method, where I can intend to cut down on my lifestyle cost. And thirdly, I want to ensure that the work I engage in for active income aligns with my passion and interest. By combining the strategies like Fat FIRE, Lean FIRE, and loving the work, one can set themselves on a path towards financial independence and a fulfilling life. Let's talk into each approach to provide some helpful tips for anyone considering a similar path. Starting with making lots of money and investing in assets. There's a concept introduced in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad called the cash flow quadrants. I've created a video explaining this concept, which you can check out in the link below. The idea is that initially, we earn money by exchanging our time for it, and this generates cash flow, which we can use to either make more money or invest in assets. Assets are the key to building wealth over time. While some work might generate immediate cash flow, it's important to direct a portion of that income into assets that appreciate and contribute to long-term wealth building. If one aims to pursue significant wealth creation, having a side hustle is a wise and increasingly common practice. It not only provides additional sources of income, but also grants greater financial freedom and the option to retire earlier. In today's landscape, having a side hustle has become an essential and practical aspect of financial planning. You can wisely use the income generated by investing in assets such as property, stocks, and shares, aiming for long-term growth and a diversified portfolio. Another important consideration is to actively reduce living costs and combat the trap of lifestyle inflation. As your income increases, the urge to spend more and indulge in luxurious expenses like upgrading living arrangements or acquiring fancy gadgets can be tempting. While occasional treats can be enjoyable, it is important to be mindful and regularly assess expenses that can be comfortably cut without compromising your quality of life. By increasing the gap between earnings and spending, you can generate a surplus of cash that can be wisely invested in assets. This disciplined approach to managing expenses contributes to greater financial freedom and paves the way for potential early retirement in the long run. Finally, achieving early retirement revolves around finding genuine enjoyment in the journey of making money and doing meaningful work. Imagine reaching a point where your work aligns so closely with your passions and interests, and you'd be happy to do it without even monetary compensation. Ask yourself, if I had $100 million in the bank, how would I spend my time? You'll realize that merely lounging on a beach and doing nothing wouldn't bring fulfillment. It may even lead to depression and burnout. Instead, envision your ideal ordinary week and how you really want to spend your time if money was not a concern. Examine the activities that energize you. For things that drain you, seek ways to make them enjoyable or find alternatives that won't compromise your sense of fulfillment. Remember, retirement isn't about avoiding work altogether. It's about doing the work that truly inspires and fulfills you. Contemplate your desired lifestyle. This may involve activities like reading, writing, learning, teaching, and spending time with loved ones. You'll realize that such a fulfilling life doesn't require a massive sum like $100 million. Fancy possessions won't determine your happiness, and you'll find joy in simple things like having a laptop, a good cup of coffee, and the freedom to engage in work that brings you joy. Focus on activities that truly ignite your passion, and you'll create a more satisfying and meaningful journey towards early retirement. So that's it for the concept of early retirement. What's your game plan for the next 10 years? Leave your answers down in the comment sections below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out more of our content about financial freedom and independence in the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.